Hello and welcome to the Palsy Podcast with me, Ciaran Fitzgerald. I'm a playwright, screenwriter, and podcaster from South Wales. And seeing as March is Cerebral Palsy Awareness Month, to mark it, I've decided to interview interesting people who have cerebral palsy from Wales and beyond every day in March. If you like this episode, please stay tuned for more throughout the month and like and share. Now enjoy this episode of the Palsy Podcast. Hello and welcome to the Palsy Podcast with me, Ciaran Fitzgerald. Third episode of this Palsy Podcast highlighting really cool people who have cerebral palsy to raise awareness this Cerebral Palsy Awareness Month. And today I'm joined by my friend Bradleigh Way. Hi Brad, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you.
Thanks
Very
for
well.
thanks for doing this. It's
It's
really
okay.
cool to chat in a more formal way than the regular catch up we have. Me and Brad are good mates, have been for a while.
Yeah, very,
Um
very good, mate.
so first thing I'm gonna ask you is what was it like growing up with CP? Um, were there any like moments where you first felt different, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. So growing up, having CP, don't get me wrong, I had challenges, but even back then, I didn't let those challenges face me, and I uh would try and find a way around an obstacle, even from like very little. So.
You give me an example of that.
Um, for example, when I had I was out and as people do, um not knowingly, um they were staring at me, and instead
Mm.
of actually letting it affect me, I I just I just smiled back at them and started laughing. So that's just you know one
What,
way
what
that I would deal with that.
was there like a moment that stands out when you first realized that you were a bit different? Like, was there a moment when you realized?
Um, Mainly realizing that I can't do everything what my brothers are doing. Um, Again, I wouldn't say that it's a barrier. In the end, I use it as a motivator to motivate me to do what I want to do now.
Was
So yeah,
that was that
but
frustrating or?
um I wouldn't say it was frustrating. Um what I would say is that I would have to put my way around, um, like, put my way around how to deal with that. If that makes sense.
Finding new ways of working things out and doing
Yeah.
things
Yes.
differently. And what was school like? What did you go to mainstream school? What kind of like experience did you have in school?
Yeah. Mainstream school was challenging again. Um. I had I had looks of of like pupils and stuff. The pupils that I was with in the class that I was with, the overall year group were actually really good in um like um correcting correcting other people if they were laughing at me. And as I got on, as I progressed through the school, I started, sticking up for myself, and basically um, I I I don't take joking around, especially when it comes to disability, lightly. So I think that was a kind of shock for them because they wasn't expecting the responses that I was giving them. Um, so yeah.
Did you have good support in school?
If I'm honest with you, my one-to-one was a uh, great support. But to be honest with you, it goes back to I don't want to speak bad of the school or anything like that, but it mainly boils down to funding. And don't get me wrong, there were certain areas where they could have improved, but I
Mm,
think it was just lack of training on the end. So I don't think
right.
it was their fault. I think it was lack of lack of training. It might have been lack of funds as well. Um, you know, so I don't think it was their fault. I think it was more, which is ironic actually, because which is what I moved into now. I think it was more they knew about it, but they didn't know about it to a certain extent. So I think it was more about education. Um,
Were you one of the only people in the school with a physical disability?
um, no, there was another person as well. Stacey
Oh yeah, I
Barrett,
know Stacey, yeah.
was the other person. Yeah, but we didn't let it phase us. We didn't let it affect us. I learned to stick up for myself. Um, I learned to take no message from nobody, and I think that's something that I've learned now going forward.
And
Um,
like you mentioned to me, I don't know if you want to say it on this podcast, we can edit
yeah,
it out if you don't.
yeah.
But like you've experienced a bit of bullying. Like what was that like? And do you think that's made you stronger as a person?
Yeah, yeah, of course. Well, we both know I think we spoke off this podcast, but the bullying really started. I should add that the bullying didn't start in school. School was fine, Um, school was fine. The place where the bullying kind of started was in college.
Right.
Um, so that is where the bullying kind of started. Don't get me wrong, the bullying was really bad, and I had to have time off college, a week off college because it was that bad.
Mm.
Um, but I don't, I I don't blame anybody, because the way I look at it, they're only bullying me, for example, because um they've got something else
Mm.
going on in their life, and they don't kind of um that's the kind of outlet that they've been taught. So I think it goes back to education as well.
I agree.
Educating people about, which is about disabilities and about access and about um you know uh and about, and
Alright,
about
how to work inclusively, how to be
yeah,
inclusive.
how to work inclusively, and how to really how to really um how to really educate, I mean, audiences, and audiences in terms of, like, when it comes to theatre. And I
Mm.
suppose that starts mainly with writing pieces, so
Yeah,
you
it
can educate those
educated.
audiences, and you know bring topics topic topics like disability to the forefront, um
So how did
and
you first
educate them.
get interested in the arts then?
I've I've always been, as you know, the listeners won't, so I will expand. But I've always been interested in the performing arts. Since I was a little kid, I would get my mum's parents to write little plays and things. Um, I would. This is actually quite funny. I would actually um perform and play the piano and perform Silent Night around Christmas time
Oh,
and
cool.
sing and everything. So yeah, it's always been in me. I think it really started when I went to America in 2009.
Right.
That's when because it was in me before then, but but coming off that trip, I was thinking, yes, I want to do this as I want to start to look at how I can do this as a career. So
And what have there been like many barriers to you having a career in the arts? Like what have been the positives, but also what have been the difficulties?
yeah, the positives have been, um, I've mentioned it a couple of times now, but the positives have been, actually writing, pieces about um disability and actually, you know, um, e- educating the audience, so to speak. So that has been one thing. And yes, there are barriers. Don't get me wrong. A big barrier for me is transport. So
Right.
that's a big barrier for me. But like I say, I'll always try and find my way around an obstacle. So that's why I tend to do a lot of the listeners don't, but you know, um, that's why I tend to do a lot of online um auditions and jobs and things, and appearances online
Mm.
and everything like that, because it's just e- easier for myself in terms of having to find you know having to find transport, and then relying on my mum, so to say, to take me to auditions. And don't get me wrong, my mum is fantastic. She will take me to auditions and everything like that, but I can't rely on her all of the time. So that's why I look at other avenues, and the other avenue that I have is online. And yeah,
How much did like COVID and lockdown make stuff like that more accessible to you then?
um, very very accessible, to be honest, because I was able to do a lot of training. Um, I did. Uh, I can't remember the name of. Yes, I can. I did training with a theater with a theater company in England, because I
Okay.
joined the online summer school program. I think, quote me if I'm wrong, I think they called Prime Theater, I think.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure.
They're a Swindon based company. So
Okay.
but I
And sorry, go on.
I did a lot of training with them. COVID was a benefit to me, actually, because I was able to do musical theatre training, before that, which I'm sure we will hop back into.
Yes.
But I was able to do in empowering the artist, which I'm sure we will dive into.
Let's talk about that now. Actually, since you brought it up,
Yeah.
so how did that come about? How did you hear about this game? Because it's run by an American company. So how did you come to apply, and then what was the course like?
Yeah, of course. So I heard about it like many actors do, checking because I regularly check Star Now for auditions and
Mm.
jobs and things anyway. So that's how I heard about it. And then from there I started the very, very long process of I sent in my application, I sent in my I think yes, they wanted the self tip, so I submitted all of that.
Mm.
Then I had an interview with the school, and then from there, then I had another interview with them, where that is where they told me that I was one out of I can't remember. I was one out of I think um it was quite a large number anyway. I think it was like 15
Wow.
um like 15,000. I think either 15,000 or 1,500 people.
Right.
Um but yeah, so of um I was one of the candidates out of that many people. Um so then they awarded me the scholarship,
Mm.
and that is when I did the program. So the program is I should add for context um for anybody obviously listening and everything like that. Um this is the actual structure when I did it. Since the structure has changed, so it's probably worth if you
Mm.
did want to do empowering the artist, it's probably worth emailing the school directly because the
What
structure is totally different now.
What did you learn during that course?
So during that course, so the course is split up into three pillars. So the art, which is the art of filmmaking, because they're a filmmaking school. So the artist, so that's me, the individual person. So the artist focused on um, meditation. Um, it focused on meditation, wellness, breath, and then you got the business, which the business side of it focused on business plans, um, um, putting together a short film. Um, it focused on so many key areas. Um, Pitching when you pitch the companies, how
Mm.
to pitch. Um, and then with the acting side of it as well. Um, um, so I from that program I learned the Alexander technique, the Lee Strasberg technique. So it was a very, very in-depth program, very long and very
Mm.
in-depth.
I will share a link to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in the description for the podcast. And in the last couple of years, you've gone on to join Hijinks
Yes, I
Theatre,
have.
who are a company based in Wales, throughout Wales, but based in Cardiff, who work with neurodivergent and learning disabled um, actors. So, what's it been like being part of Hijinks?
Um, Different to other theatre companies that I've been part of, but in a good way. Um,
Right.
by that I mean they put access in the front of everything that they do. So even the venues that we perform in, they make sure that they are um accessibility friendly. Um, the support there with the production team and everything is second to none.
Mm.
As you know, as I did Christmas #1 last year. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and you also get you um you also get um they they really value the performers, so they really like value me because
Mm.
you get a say into like the characters and everything like that, and you work with the writing team and everything like that, and
Has it made a difference to be part of a company who understand like access and what disabled and neurodiverse performers need?
yes, it has because I'm finding myself having to explain myself less because I should mention at this point I have an accessibility document that I send out to
Yeah.
all companies. So yes, good. I'm finding myself having to explain myself less because they understand about accessibility documents and everything already. And
I bet that takes a lot of energy and effort to have to explain yourself all the time.
it
Like,
does, it does. That's why I now have, as you know, that's why I now have an accessibility document. So therefore,
mm,
I shouldn't, should I say, in little quotation marks, I shouldn't have to explain myself. But I think the industry is still in that kind of phase that where companies don't always read your accessibility documents.
yeah, I've experienced this.
So sometimes you're finding yourself having to explain your accessibility document in detail. So sometimes it can put more pressure on
Mm.
you um having to do that. But this company have been brilliant.
I
I should
guess if more companies followed the model that Hutchings are following, the industry would be a lot more inclusive.
yes. I think um I think it I think it does definitely need to be rolled out to other companies, and I've got nothing against the companies. I suppose it's training because again, if you haven't been around disabled performers like
Mm,
myself,
mm,
you are not going to know. So I think it's kind of um the training and like advocacy work, which is something I do as well. So educating people
mm.
about it.
I think Hijinks are currently running a scheme of creative enabler training for people in the
Yes.
industry who want to make their practice more accessible. So if you're interested in that, check out Hijinks' website. I'll put a link in the description of the podcast to Hijinks, and you can find all the info you need there. So Bradley, as well as having CP, maybe this is part of your CP, but you're also dyslexic. So
Yep.
like how does that affect you day to day, and what impact does that have on your life?
So day to day, it affects me whereas I get tired a lot more, and in terms of work, acting work, I require all scripts and materials to be sent to me in advance electronically um on on blue paper. Um, so that is a accessibility requirement that I have. And then if I'm doing theatre work, for example, I require uh blue tape markers so I can physically, see the layout of the set and
Mm,
me being physically directed, right, that is where that is what the set is gonna look like. I need to physically see what the set is gonna look like.
Right.
And so it's a lot of um guiding and support, which hydraulics are great with. Um,
And like before you got your dyslexia diagnosis, did you feel like, oh, why am I struggling with this? And how much of a difference did it make when you realized, oh, this is the reason why this is difficult? Oh,
I should add here, they've told me that I have dyslexia, but I haven't been officially diagnosed.
right.
So
Okay.
I should add that. Um, so I've been told that I have dyslexia, um, by another organization. I'm not going to name the name.
No.
Um, but I've been told by another organization type school that I do have dyslexia because they are trained in spotting dyslexia
Signs
things,
of it, yeah.
signs
Yeah.
of it. So I've been told that I do have it, but I haven't officially been diagnosed. Um,
Would you want an official diagnosis? Would it make a big difference to you?
I mean, an official diagnosis would, but then it wouldn't because an official diagnosis, in theory, um, when you officially get diagnosed, um, they are meant to put um certain um
Like
uh, uh
things in place.
adaptations in place. That's all good and well on paper, but in the real world, that doesn't always happen. So
Mm.
that's why they are they have they've diagnosed me with they put me under the kind of umbrella of the um the, I can't say the word
Like that
but
that neurodiversity
yeah,
umbrella.
yeah,
Uh, but I think like what you've been saying throughout this is people need to like raise awareness and people need to have more awareness of
definitely,
disability in general. The
definitely.
last thing I want to ask you about is what is one thing that you wish people knew about CP?
One thing that I wish that people knew about CP was that don't let your CP stop you. Um, don't let your CP stop you just because you're disabled, just because you're in a wheelchair. It doesn't mean that you can't follow your dreams. Yes, you will have to work a little harder at um achieving your dreams, but it's it's certainly not um you certainly can't like s- stop like if you've got a passion like me for example, um like a
Yeah,
disabled actor, don't let your disability put you off, is I suppose is what I'm trying to say. Because
absolutely.
you can find a way around um an obstacle. I mean, I have a positive mindset whereas
Mm,
yes, I have cerebral palsy, yes, I have dyslexia, but I have the reason why I say that I have a kind of a positive outlook on life and a positive mindset with that is because I will I will try and find a way around an obstacle.
mm,
I'm determined to achieve what I want to achieve. Um, but I guess as well it's down to like funding. So I
mm.
guess it's money, because I know money is a big barrier for a
And
lot of
definitely,
people.
I don't know if you're the same, but since becoming an adult, there's no services, no physio, no speech and language
Yes,
therapy, and that all needs funding, I think.
that all needs funding, so it's money at the end of the day. Like, it boils down to everything. But yeah, it it's money. It's money with transport, because as well, um although although there is disabled transport out there, the disabled transport is a lot more expensive, and there's not enough of it out there, if that
Yeah,
makes sense, for people.
yeah.
So I think that needs to be looked at. If I was the head of the country, I think I would look at that. But
Well, Bradley Way for Prime Minister, you can't do a worse job than Keir Starmer, I don't think. Brad, this has
yeah,
been lovely. Thank you
thank
for
you.
giving up your Wednesday evening to do this. It's been lovely
It's
talking
okay.
to you.
Thank you.
That's all for this episode of the Cerebral Palsy podcast. Tomorrow, if you're listening to this, because these are going out every day in March, so make sure you subscribe so you can catch them every day in March. Tomorrow, I'll be talking to Sarah Edwards, who works for the charity Scope, about what she does to amplify the voices of people with cerebral palsy. And then the day after, I'll be talking to Sofia Brizio, who's an Italian para swimmer who is also currently studying for her PhD in Cardiff. So two and lots of exciting episodes coming throughout the month. So thanks, Bradley. It's been brilliant. Thank you for your
Thank
time on
you for
this
having me.
episode. And yes, we'll catch you in the next episode of the Palsy Podcast. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Palsy Podcast with me, Ciaran Fitzgerald. I want to thank my guests for joining me, and I hope that you'll stay tuned for the next episode and more throughout March. Thank you.